Hello and welcome to my space here. This is going to be my weekly relationship toolbox, and I'm going to be calling this one Birthing a New Earth. So I want to really work with still the earth energy this week as I'm still embodying the Queen of Pentacles and working with that energy, creating a lot of patience, creating a lot of self-worth, connecting to your core. So we're going to be connecting with our cores today. You're going to get a little bit of a core workout. But also I just wanted to kind of bring you back down to earth, so I highly encourage you to, find a little cozy place for yourself. Maybe it's even just your living room, put on something comfy. Maybe I made myself some tea today, so I'm moving kind of slow, and that's what I love about the Queen of Pentacles and the energy of earth, is that it's a very slow moving energy, and it really teaches you how to be patient with yourself and to be really compassionate and gentle and just really just very, very nurturing, right? And that's the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. She's a nurturer. So we're going to be working with like I said, I want to call this Birthing a New Earth, because I'm going to do a little stretch here that's going to allow you to kind of not only work with actual physically birthing a child, but also just birthing this these new aspects of ourselves. So we don't birth a new earth from it's not going to happen from the outside in, it's going to happen from within us. So by us taking really good care of our bodies, this actually drives us to want to take care of the earth. And that's not true for everyone, I guess, but it's a reflection, right? So it's a reflection of how much we care about ourselves is how much we'll care about the earth. And what we put in our bodies is what we're going to experience more of. So if you can kind of think of the energy of pollution as the same as us polluting our body. So you could think of the physical manifestation of pollution on the planet is really a reflection of how many of us that reside here on earth are polluting ourselves, especially our minds, with our thoughts, with the things we put into our bodies, with what we watch, with what we hear. And so this really becomes our inner voice, and then our inner voice really dictates how we choose to take care of ourselves. And if our inner voice isn't very nice to us, which we talked about last week with the Queen of Swords, if our inner voice isn't nice to us, we're going to kind of, we're not going to treat ourselves nicely in a physical way. So we might pick up addictions in order to kind of mask these negative thoughts we're having about ourselves, or these harmful thoughts. And so then we pollute our bodies, and we're harming our bodies by what we're putting into it, or what we're doing, or what we're watching, or what we're and remember that health kind of embodies, a lot of times we think health is only physical, but I've been learning, and I think that we're learning collectively, that health is so much deeper than just physical health. So the Queen of Pentacles doesn't just help you with your health in the physical realm, but that's her specialty, but she also helps you create this space to make healthy choices for your mind and your body, and most importantly, she cares the most about your soul. So she really will help you to nurture your inner child, because technically it's kind of like our inner child that keeps us from expressing. Sometimes it depends. Our inner child can have a lot of wounding, and if you have a lot of inner child wounding, then it's going to be really hard for you to express yourself and express your soul. So she really comes to you to teach you how to express yourself, or not necessarily how to express yourself. She comes to teach you how to feel safe enough in your body to express yourself fully. And so that's why we're going to be working with the core, and we're really going to be embodying, because I want to move slow, but I also want to give you a workout, because this is a mindful movement sequence. So I do want to keep you grounded to your body. So right now we're going to just come back down to the ground and place your focus on your root chakra, because the pentacles are associated with your root chakra, but I also associate them with the solar plexus chakra. So but when we feel safe in our bodies, we begin to create this sense of security within ourselves, and we feel really, supported. When we feel supported, we begin to manifest support in the external world, whether that support is through, financial, or that support is through, friends and family, people helping you, it just depends on, but when you begin to feel supported within yourself by doing these things that connect you to your soul and that connect you to your body, most importantly, then you feel more supported. And think about your core. It's the center of your body that supports you. So really forming a deep connection with your core. And think about how many of us have so much shame. The shame and the criticism around our beautiful bellies. And that's another thing, because I'm also picking up on pregnancy, and I'm just seeing, and think of pregnancy, it can be both. It can be a very physical birth, or it can be also this metaphorical birthing of like this new part of who you are, this new part of your life, you know. So there's different ways to think of birth, but I'm picking up on all different things. Like people are actually, you know, connecting more with, you know, a physical birth, and they're, especially right now, if people are, oh my gosh, I just saw a crow flying. That was crazy. And it totally caught my eye. Sorry, that totally distracted me, but that was a sign. So crows might be a message for you. They're kind of messengers, right? So, and kind of like our children are little messengers, and we can really connect. One thing I wanted to speak about is we can connect with our children and the spirit of our children, and the process of birth is way deeper than just like you physically getting pregnant, because on a very spiritual or soul level, you're creating a contract with a soul that's going to birth into your physical human that you're going to be giving birth to. So it's, you know, and you start connecting with your guides, your children's guides, really kind of before you even ever come in contact with the physical baby, right? So you're really learning how to meet this, if you're really aware of this, right? If you're not aware of this, you're going to be doing it in dream states when you're completely not aware of what's going on, you know. But everybody's going through this. Like we all have soul contracts with our, you know, with the parents and the people the families we're being birthed into. And so birth is more than just very physical. It's a very spiritual experience. It's a very sacred experience. And a lot of us weren't taught mentally, because I'm also picking up on birth. Like, people are really scared of giving birth. And think about our society, how it feeds us this fearful narrative of giving birth as like this catastrophic, like totally traumatic experience where you're screaming and you're yelling and like it's painful and it's awful. And, you know, and we're fed this narrative. I was speaking about how your mental health and like feeding yourself things. You don't just feed yourself food, but you feed yourself like stories and narratives that sometimes aren't even true. And learning how to have an experience is way different than like attaching what people have told us an experience is supposed to be like, right? So pregnancy does not have to be awful. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It can actually be very orgasmic, and it can be beautiful, and it can be sensual, and it can be very, you know, it's a very deep connection. But if you're not connecting with the soul on that level, then it's not going to really be like that. That's not probably the experience you're going to have while you're giving birth, because there's this like really deep disconnect, and there's not this connection with the soul. So a lot of times, you know, and we've been kind of giving our power away as women for a very long time with giving birth, and we kind of like let other people give birth for us. And I know there's like certain circumstances where you just can't. You have to have like a C-section, or you have to have these, you know, you have to have the assistance, and I understand that. But think about our ancestors and how long they were giving birth out in the fucking wild, you know, like they literally know how to do it. It's very instinctual, you know, like, but we've kind of given our power away because we've been taught this very false narrative of what pregnancy is. And think about how much money it costs to have a baby, you know, like, so just think about how our society has just changed. And because we have like, you know, modern medicine, you know, they can make a lot of money off things that we've been doing without them for, you know, a very long time, that we were literally born to do this. And so really forming that connection with the soul and on the spirit level will actually help you to take really good care of your body, especially not just for you, but also for your child, right? So if you're wanting to, you know, become pregnant, or if you struggle to get pregnant, or, you know, if you're just wanting to be a healthier version of yourself, you know, really taking that time to connect with your body and connecting with your own guides will give you that opportunity to kind of form that relationship with your child's spirit as well. Because think of, you know, parenthood and motherhood, it's not just a physical thing, it's a very energetic bond, right? You're deeply connected to this person. And so like a lot of times we can just project things onto them rather than getting to know what their needs are and how to meet them. But think about how often we don't even know how to meet our own needs or connect with them or know what they are. So hopefully this practice will kind of help you discover, you know, what your needs are and how you can better meet them. And I'm going to kind of help you along the way. So we're going to have fun, but we're also going to kind of get a little bit of workout and really connect with our core. So we're going to start by bringing our awareness to our butts, like I already mentioned before. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down and back, and we're engaging the core here. So, you know, it can be kind of hard if we're not used to sitting up very straight. So this will be really helpful too, especially, you know, during pregnancy. Think about how it kind of like weighs you down in the front. You're going to want to learn how to sit up really nice and straight, and kind of, you can even begin to practice here, like practice envisioning holding a baby here, like in your womb, you know, allow yourself to imagine it. And that's really like this connection that you begin to form, you know, it's not only with like your future child, but also just with your womb space in general. We're creating this sanctuary for them. You know, like we want to treat our gut and talk to our guts really nicely. Even if you're like gaining weight and your belly's growing and you're feeling vulnerable and you're feeling like sensitive, or you're feeling self-conscious and you just don't think you look very attractive, like just remind yourself of the beauty that's deeper than physical level. Like, okay, so just try to connect with that part of you and seeing yourself as beautiful, even though your body's changing and you're growing, you know, and still being able to find the pleasure, the beauty in it. Because sometimes, you know, like birth, what I'm picking up on is that pregnancy is going to be very uncomfortable. And so my guides and my children's guides have come to help me, you know, because I have a lot of fears of like giving birth. Like I was saying, we've been taught this very fearful narrative, but I also want to be able to have a very deep connection with my birth. Like I want it to be a very sacred moment. And so they're teaching me, you know, like to be able to breathe through different experiences, like different pains in your body, and being able to connect with your breath is really helpful during birth. It will help you to, or like staying really positive, repeating positive affirmations, really connecting to the body, you know, like connecting to my breast, connecting to, you know, getting really sensual with it and allowing myself to feel pleasure amongst the pain, right? Because I'm not denying that pregnancy isn't painful, but we can kind of choose how we choose to perceive the experience is all what we're going to, you know, reap from it. So if we believe that it's going to be very terrible and painful and awful and horrible and horrific, you know, then it might just be that, you know, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you can begin to imagine it becoming imagine your birth being very peaceful, right? Because that's what I think. I don't think birth is like coming into the world and feeling and like, you know, screaming and yelling and like, oh, so much pain. I think that it's beautiful and peaceful. And I think that, you know, especially even if you just watch animals give birth, if you've ever experienced that, it's, you know, they just do it all on their own, and they know exactly how to take care of themselves. So it's nice that we have, obviously, the modern medicine, that we have, you know, nurses and doctors that can help us, but try not to give your power away to them. Don't give your birthing experience away to that kind of like, they're just going to do it for me, like I do, you know, like kind of, I don't know. I personally believe being truly deeply involved is important. So, but you know, we're not taught that all the time. So anyway, now that I'm done ranting, we can kind of take a deep breath in, and we're going to sweep the arms up and over our heads to breathe in deeply. Holding at the top for just a moment, and then we're going to exhale and twist to the left. The left arm kind of comes back and down. I like to bring my right arm to my left knee and kind of breathe in deep here and kind of go a little deeper, but don't try to force it. This is just going to get us nice and warmed up. Breathing in, arms come above the head, and then exhaling to the right hand behind you, left hand on your right knee. Breathing in and twisting to the right. Exhaling deeply into the belly. That's important. Let's do one more. Breathe deep into the belly as you're twisting. Inhaling, exhaling to the right. Breathing in deeply and exhaling with control into the belly. This kind of acts as like a wash rag, you know, like you're rinsing it out. I like that feeling. Up above the head again, and exhaling to your right. Taking a deep breath in here, make sure you're still sitting up nice and tall, and exhaling with control into the belly. Squeezing out that wash rag. You can just kind of imagine all your negative energy right in the core, just rinsing it out. And you can bring your hands up again above the head. And we're going to exhale in front of us, sweeping the hands down. We can create a little bit of protection here, exhaling to the earth. I like to rock back and forth here a little bit. Take a deep breath in the nose and exhaling to release. head. Breathing in slowly to bring it back up. I like to touch my body here, bring it all the way back up over the head. Legs come out straight in front of you. Toes pointed towards your face, and exhaling to sweep it forward. Exhaling to grab the toes or the ankles or the knees or the thighs. Wherever you can reach is fine for you. Breathing in through the nose here. And exhaling into the core as you bow down. Breathing in the nose, and we're going to slowly pull the legs in, bending at the knees, going nice and slow. And then we're going to kind of, I like to call this like a little butterfly position. So you might be working with the spirit of the butterfly, you might be going through a deep transformation, and it's really good to connect with the body, to connect with your spirit, to kind of just really take very good care of yourself. Breathing into the hips here, taking a deep breath in through the nose, and exhaling to bow forward. Chin comes to chest. Kind of create like a cat back here, stretching. Breathing in deeply, and we're gonna grab our feet here, kind of like this. And we're gonna bring them in forward, kind of like we're in stirrups. This is how my guides seriously always put me in this position, as a way to help me like stretch out my hips, as a way to just like. I think mostly the hardest part about birth is like being in really uncomfortable positions that your body's like not used to being in. So if you can get your body used to being in those positions, and you can kind of, stretch out those hips and kind of prepare yourself to expand, then you're going to have your experience is probably going to be come with a lot more ease, rather than like you don't have to force or push. You know how there's this idea that you're like, and you're like pushing really hard. Sometimes I think it's more of just like this gentle, like squeezing, as more than it is like a pushing and forcing. It's just and if you can really get your breath into it, then you're gonna like be able to kind of move through the pain with much more resilience. So like I said, I'm not denying that it's painful. I'm sure it is, but I think that especially as we're preparing ourselves for it, and like. Sometimes getting yourself all worked up, especially if you've never given birth before, if you're a new mom, and I just know that there's a lot going on with like the pandemic and, not having that like intimate contact or that immediate contact with like doctors and stuff. I don't know. I can just feel like there's just a lot of mothers who are like, there's just a lot of unknown, a lot of uncertainty, and that can already. As much fear as you're already feeling as becoming like a new mom, like you're also going to be experiencing the fears of, this pandemic we've never been through before. So also being very gentle with yourselves, and, forming that connection with your body gets you out of your mind, and then you're not as anxious and you're not worried about things that are out of your control. So you're just learning how to trust. And I think that's what pregnancy and parenthood and motherhood is really truly about. It's like learning how to trust ourselves, because we're going to be our greatest guide. So like really learning how to trust yourself, and trusting and connecting with your guides and connecting with your children's guides will really help you to move through, parenthood, motherhood with a lot more support. You'll feel that support, right? And connecting with your guides, it's like a support that doesn't come from the physical doctors or anybody who can tell you how to raise your children outside of you. It comes from this inner wisdom within yourself. You've probably been a parent before in other lifetimes, and like you can really connect to that part of you to teach you how to, make your way through it, because it's hard. It's hard to navigate parenthood, especially if you don't. What if you didn't have parents that were very good parents, right? Like learning what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? And that's kind of the pentacles to me too. Is like what are your roots? What do you want to leave behind? Do they align with who you want to be? Are they in integrity? Like are they going to be a strong foundation, or can you do some shadow work? Can you do some inner child healing? Can you do some ancestral healing, and really look at your patterns to where you kind of give your power away, or where you kind of, where you can just be more anchored in your mind, body, and spirit, finding that inner balance. And I like that I'm still sitting here in this position. I hope you're feeling this stretch. And we're still connecting to our root chakra here. So we're bringing the awareness, maybe not to our hips or to our knees or whatever is painful, but bringing that awareness back to your butt meeting the earth. And the earth is holding you, the earth is supporting you. Remember that when you're going through a hard time, the earth is always there. And if you can form this connection with the earth by think of earth as your body, okay? Your body is earth. So you are one with the earth. And kind of try to think of it that way. You want to ground to yourself. You want to ground to your body. Get yourself out of that mind and because your body is intelligent. Your body is so intelligent. It knows everything that you need in order to support yourself, to take care of yourself. And if you can trust your body's wisdom, you will feel so supported on this human experience. Because let me tell you, the human experience to me is not always that delightful or lovely, honestly. And so being able to find different ways to connect with yourself and connect with your body will help it to be a more beautiful and pleasant experience, right? Earth is not meant to be awful and terrible and horrible. It's meant to be beautiful and expansive and liberating. But a lot of us don't feel free here. So we're kind of learning how to free ourselves from the inside out, right? So taking a deep breath in through the nose here and exhaling deep into the belly. Almost imagine giving birth, shooting out your vagina. Or if you're a male doing this, you can imagine it shooting out your penis. We can really use our sexual energy, which I'll get in more to next week, but we can use our sexual energy to kind of birth a new self, right? Think of it. And instead of using our sexual energy to output into relationships that aren't necessarily fulfilling us or serving us or, helping us evolve at all, then we can use that sexual energy to actually, create a new version of ourselves. And whenever we're feeling the need to output our sexual energy, can we bring it upward and bring it inward, and then get ourselves it's like getting yourself turned on for yourself, just for you. So we'll get into more of that next week, but let's continue to breathe in through the nose here and exhaling out the mouth, in through the nose. Out the mouth. One more, taking the biggest deep breath you've taken in all day. And exhaling deeply into the belly, into the earth. Feeling connected to that root chakra. Bringing yourself in, you're going to bring your knees in now to give yourself a nice hug. Tell your body how much you love it, how grateful you are for it. That's the Queen of Pentacles too. She's the Queen of Gratitude. She's the Queen of Appreciation. She really appreciates the small things. She helps you celebrate the little wins, the little victories, the little breakthroughs. Because if you don't celebrate those, then you're just going to be waiting and waiting and waiting for the big ones that aren't ever going to come, and you're going to miss out on the ones that are right here, right now. And that's kind of like tending to the small, coming back to the present moment, grounding yourself, living mindfully, living simply, not having as many things. Minimalism is great for clearing up mental space and allowing new things to come into your life. So really reevaluating your possessions. Do these certain things give any value to you, or why are you still holding on to them? If there's clothes you need to go through and get rid of, or if there's space you need to make, if you need to declutter to create a clearer space for yourself, to get rid of some excess toys for your children, allow yourself to kind of let go this time of year. What possessions are adding value? Which ones do you really want to keep, and which ones can you let go of? And that will teach you how to let go, right? To kind of detach. And this time of year, it's autumn, we're learning how to let go, how to fall, and sometimes we want to cling and we want to cling and we want to cling, but whatever's dying in our life, it's time to let it go, is what I'm picking up on. So, and that can cause a lot of grief, a lot of, we're shedding an old layer of ourselves, and it's Scorpio season now, so that's actually today, so I'm picking up on some wonderful energy of, like shedding, letting go. And this can bring up grief and sadness and loss and anger, and that's okay. But come back to this moment. Can you hug yourself in those moments? Can you work out your frustrations on doing a core workout? So with that being said, let's go ahead and move into just like cat-cow pose. Tabletop position, that's what it's called. Okay, so we're going to start with doing this little balance exercise because that's kind of our core. We're going to engage our core here. We don't want to just like slunch, but really creating, like you're kind of pulling it in and up, and also with your shoulders as well. So like not collapsing into them, but kind of holding them up, and this will strengthen your arms, your wrists, your hands. And make sure your knees are about, hip width apart. I like to put my feet down so they're connected, anchored to the earth. And it will help you move through these like more challenging like positions, especially. But maybe if this isn't challenging for you, step it up some. But otherwise, take it slow. But when you're moving through resistance, if you can just bring yourself back to your awareness, to your feet, back to your breath, it will help you move through it with much more ease. So keeping our core engaged, and we're gonna bring the left knee out and back so your toes are facing down, and you're going to want to like kind of find a balance here because we're going to begin to lift, and try not to put all your weight into your left hand. Try to keep yourself pretty balanced, and we're going to bring our right arm up and out like you're shaking somebody's hand. So we're creating this nice long line of energy. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling to pull it together, meeting at the core. Your elbow meets your knee. Inhaling to extend again, keeping that balance, connecting to your core, and exhaling to bring it in. Exhaling to extend. And getting the breathing and the movement together at the same time is the hardest part about yoga, in my opinion. So if you're not perfect, it's okay. Allow yourself to mess up, but continue to keep going. Exhaling to come in, inhaling to extend, exhaling to bring it in, inhaling to extend, exhaling to bring it back down. Good job. You might have felt a little bit of, shaking in your right booty. It's going to be good workout for that as well. So we're going to move on to the other side now. Extending your right leg out, toes facing down, finding that balance in the center, engaging the core. Taking a deep breath in to extend your left arm. And exhaling to bring it together. And you can move nice and slow. Inhaling to extend. Exhaling to bring it in. Inhaling to extend. Exhaling to bring it forward or together. Great work. One more. Inhaling to extend. And exhaling to bring it down. You may notice that you don't always have to count and do like a certain amount of repetitions, but just see what your body can do and kind of develop a more curious mindset when it comes to like, how much can I do, rather than like, I have to do this many, like, don't be so hard on yourself or create so much. Allow yourself to have more flexibility with yourself. And that's the best part about yoga, is it doesn't just help your body become more flexible, but it helps your mind become more flexible and your heart become more flexible. So that's the best part. You become more gentle towards yourself. And celebrate those little things like, oh my gosh, I never thought I'd be able to do that. Well, look, you did it. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like, it's great to show up for yourself when you think that you can't do something and then you do it. It's like you prove it to yourself. And it's like you don't need to prove it to yourself either. Like, you're worthy of love and respect and validation right here and right now. But it is important to remember to, celebrate the little things. So next we're going to move down into a forearm plank. So we're going to come down here. And then we're going to move our legs out. And it's important to breathe nice and steady here, in through the nose. Okay, and then we're going to do a few little hip dips here. So going to the right, exhaling to the right, bring it back to center, exhaling to the left, inhaling to center, exhaling to right, inhaling to center, exhaling to left, inhaling to center, exhaling to the right, inhaling to center, exhaling to the left, one more, exhaling to the right, center, exhaling to left. Bringing knees back to the ground. Bringing them up here. I'm just going to do a little stretch here. Breathing in through the nose. And exhaling to bow forward. Taking a few deep breaths here. And we're going to come back to sit on our booties. And I'm going to we're going to move through some what I'm going to call hug crunches. So sitting nice and center, remember your root sitting nicely on the earth. We're keeping our awareness there. We're going to start off in this position like we were hugging ourselves earlier. And just creating that kind of, self-love for ourselves. We want to practice holding ourselves and, think about holding a child. It's like you have to hold your inner child sometimes. You have to hold that part of you, especially if you're going through a hard time or you're going through a transformation or, you're struggling. Like, making this time to support yourself will really just benefit your overall well-being, and you'll just feel more supported throughout the day. So creating that kind of support for yourself will help you to see the support that surrounds you always. And sometimes when we're struggling, we can feel like we're in it all alone and that nobody knows our pain and that we just are suffering in silence. So when you can notice that you're feeling that way, learning how to meet your needs and come to a place that connects you to your body will help you feel supported. And it might not be what you want, because a lot of times we want to be taken care of. We want to be, held like maybe we weren't as a child, right? And so what we're really seeking is being held by ourselves. So if you can kind of create that space for yourself, you're going to start supporting yourself in a new way. And then your body's going to start supporting you in miraculous, beautiful ways. And so will the universe, because it sees you showing up for yourself. It sees you trying to be, a better, healthier version of yourself so that you can support yourself. And when you support yourself, it's like they'll reflect that back to you and they'll be like, okay, we're going to support you since you're supporting yourself. And it'll be like magic, and you're like, oh my gosh, and your sense of wonder will come back. And that's just that inner child that's like, you're curious about where your life can go and what you're capable of achieving and overcoming emotionally or anything. Like you don't have to be a victim of your past, or you don't have to be a victim of things you've experienced. You can truly, tell a new story, rewrite a new story for yourself, and become the version of yourself that you always hoped or dreamed you would be. And not allowing anyone else to stop you or keep you from doing it, and supporting yourself along the way will just really give you a lot of strength and a lot of courage and a lot of bravery, which is really challenging because it's going to require you to be vulnerable and express different parts of you probably never allowed yourself to express before. And that's just going to create a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, a lot of insecurity. And in those moments, it's important that we know how to care for ourselves. And so that's why I've created this space for you and for myself, because I have hard, very challenging days, and I have it's about learning how to take care of yourself during those times that just keep you moving forward. And sometimes it can be so easy to become stuck and be stuck in that victim mentality, that stuck mentality. And then there's this energy of comparison, and there's this energy of jealousy or not enough, or envy, and so really tending to your own garden and tending to your own needs will help you to move beyond those things. And you'll just be so focused on your own your own healing, your own growth, that you won't think about flowers. They don't compare their growth to other flowers. They just allow themselves to grow and blossom in their own time. So be that gentle and delicate with yourself and kind of see it more like that. I love using the earth to reflect my own understandings to me, just the way the earth operates is we kind of operate in the same way. We have these seasons that we have to slow down, and allowing yourself to move with the seasons, allowing yourself to be flexible, allowing yourself to change. Look how much the earth has changed over so much time. You're allowed to change, you're allowed to be different. And you're the only person that can create change. So it's really taking those steps to do it will make you feel really strong. So let's end it here by we're just going to bring it and be gentle with yourself here. These are not going to be perfect for me either, so just allow yourself to, we're going to hold ourselves here in the core. Remember, keep your awareness to the root chakra on the earth. And we're kind of hovering above the earth here. You can kind of hold onto your knees, but then we're going to let go, and we're going to extend the legs out long. Oh my gosh. And bringing yourself back up to kind of hug yourself. And then exhaling to extend. Inhaling to lift yourself up, give yourself that hug. Exhaling to extend. Inhaling to hug yourself. Whoa! Definitely laugh at yourself. Exhaling to extend. Inhaling to bring it back up, giving yourself that hug. Good job, body. Exhaling to extend. Inhaling to bring it up. You're really engaging the core here. Exhaling to extend. I guess I was inhaling there. It's really important to just find your own rhythm, connect to your own breath, connect to your own movement. Do 2 more. Last one. Great job. Giving yourself a big hug. I'm so proud of you. And I truly am proud of you. If you did that with me, woohoo, I'm so proud of you. I celebrate you, and I hope that you can learn how to celebrate yourself, how to truly build yourself up from the inside out. Because remember, the world's not going to do it for you, and the world will beat you down. Like, especially one thing I did want to speak about is like domestic violence, domestic abuse, and really, if you experienced any kind of like any sort of physical abuse growing up, will be really important for you to connect to your body to help you really calm your nervous system so that you can learn how to receive support, right? And that means being held. And a lot of times if you grew up in homes where there was domestic abuse, you might have like feared your own parents, and so you never really allowed yourself to be safe around, or to feel safe around them, or to feel supported by them, because subconsciously you were always fearful of them, so you were always waiting, becoming hypersensitive, watching their every move, waiting to see when their moods would shift, to see like if you were going to get your head bitten off, or if things were going to blow up, or if you were going to get punished, or if things were going to be more aggressive or volatile. Like, you become very hypersensitive and aware to your parents' behaviors, and so this can really keep us in this energy of feeling really unsafe in our bodies. And I really want you to feel safe in your body, because your body is your home, and nothing outside of us is ever going to make us feel peaceful and safe. And so that can kind of be like a scary thing, and it can be hard to be in this world, and you can feel very alone in this world. But when you begin to feel that sense of like security and that safety within yourself, because you're creating safety in your nervous system, you have to really program your nervous system to feel safety, to feel connection. And that's why I love yoga, because it has helped me feel connected, it has helped me feel safe in my body, it has helped me form a connection with my body, it's helped me form a connection with the earth. And I know now that it's my birthright to feel safe in my body, and for so long I did not feel safe in my body. And in order for me to cope with this feeling, I overate, I numbed myself out. And that was just my little addiction, but other people have so many different addictions that they use to do the same thing, to help their bodies cope when they're feeling stressed out or their nervous system hasn't gotten any rest. So learning how to regulate your nervous system will really help you and prevent you from snapping at your children or hitting your children, or because that's another taboo subject that's coming up, and this time of year is always great with Scorpio season. It's like things that are hidden and unknown. And one thing that brings up a lot of fear for me to speak about is domestic violence. And I grew up in a home with domestic violence, and it really messed with my nervous system. It really messed up my psyche, and I was constantly on guard, constantly defensive, and I felt super betrayed. My heart was broken every time I was hit physically, and so this caused me to build up a big, huge wall around myself, and it created a lot of pain and suffering within myself. So really learning how to connect with my nervous system and develop this very grounded space for myself, and to just hold my body was just like this experience I had never had before. So it really transformed my consciousness, and it transformed my body, because I brought myself back to my body, where before I was neglecting my body, I wasn't taking care of myself, and this caused a lot of disease in my body. I had type 2 diabetes, I was just obese, I was unhealthy, and so coming back to my body really helped me heal those things naturally, just by loving myself and tending to myself and meeting my own needs. And mostly it was just holding myself when I was going through a really hard time, because a lot of times I would rely on food to comfort me, right? So when we can learn how to create comfort within ourselves, and that's kind of the Queen of Pentacles. She will create this, beautiful sanctuary for you within yourself that allows you to feel comforted, so you can retreat there rather than seeking and consuming in the external world in order to make you feel comforted. And a lot of, if you binge eat, or if you have a lot of, even I'm just picking up on the gut, like we can have a lot of issues in the gut, and just a lot of insecurities and a lot of self-worth, and so a lot of self-worth issues. And so this will tend to abuse the gut by like eating or putting harmful toxins, harmful foods in it. So you can just become aware of that, and she'll help you to kind of create this space within yourself that allows for you to seek comfort by creating inner peace, rather than seeking to comfort yourself. Like it's like choosing inner comfort over ego gratification. So, and ego gratification is really easy to do because it gives you that immediate relief. Whereas learning how to come to your body, learning how to calm your nervous system, it's not going to give you the same effect. It will help you long term, and it will really stabilize yourself and create a baseline where you can return to peace and love and connection always, So, but it takes programming, it takes stillness, it takes, awareness, and really committing to that, creating that sense of security and comfort and connection for yourself. so that you feel really stable and strong and supported in the physical world. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you. I do like private readings and personalized workouts, personalized guided meditation. So if you're seeking any kind of support, I have those offerings, and I'll leave the information below. And I will be back next week. I hope you have a lovely week. Take care.